Good afternoon to all the distinguished guests, our speakers, team, fleet management, those staff who are working ashore as well as their sailing seafarers, seafarers from other shipping companies, seafarers organizations who are joined up for our event. We have CMMI, IMEI, uh, various seafarers associations from across our country. We have Nautical Institute branches connected from across the globe. We have Nautical Institute branches from India, right from north to south. Welcome. I thank you all for acknowledging our request and joining up for this event. Welcome you all to this certificate of appreciation event for fleet management today by the Nautical Institute, London, hosted by the Nautical Institute Southwest branch in India. So welcome to all of you. As you all know, this pandemic had thrown life out of gear. In fact, many of the operations coming to standstill, and many industries being affected, and shipping industry was no exception over the past few months of this effect of this pandemic. But I believe that we needed strong personalities and strong character, also kind-hearted people during this time of pandemic to overcome the challenges that all of us are facing during this pandemic. So I will call this as an event of strong personalities and kind-hearted people. That is how I would call this event as. And as I mentioned, strong. We need people with strong characters, especially if I look at seafarers and the kind of mental stress, the additional mental stress that they might be going through on board the ship, especially with extended contract. We have been reading news even today. There are lots of news about the various challenges faced with regard to crew sign on and sign off, and many companies not able to cope up with those challenges. So it is unprecedented times. Seafarers are going through a lot of mental trauma. So that is why I mentioned we need strong characters to stand up, as well as kind-hearted people. And when I say kind-hearted people, people who are working behind the curtains, people who are working ashore, who themselves are seafarers, to understand, what the seafarers are actually going through on board, and helping the cause of bringing them home and reconnecting with their families during this time of pandemic. It is not just important to sign off our seafarers from the ship, but I would say it is critical to sign on the seafarers who are on leave, because that is their livelihood. So, the companies and the people who work behind the scenes also need to be appreciated. And that is how this campaign was started by the Nautical Institute, the Southwest branch, in appreciating seafarers. And all of you would agree, it is very difficult for us to give the certificate of appreciation to each and every seafarer, though we would have loved to do it. So we choose organizations who have been working behind for the seafarers, especially during this pandemic, specifically for their seafarers sign on and sign off. So today we have our event number 10, and we are appreciating Captain Prashant Ragnekar, Elegant Marine Services, Fleet Management, for their efforts, for that extra mile that they've traveled for the seafarers, especially bringing them home as well as reconnecting them on board. So I would once again call it as an event of strong personalities and kind-hearted people. Um, Before I do get on with the schedule of today's event, I would like to make a small announcement, and the announcement is to welcome all those new members who have joined up with the Nautical Institute Southwest branch. As you know, we are hosting this event over the last 2 months continuously on Saturdays. So I welcome all those members who have joined us at the Southwest branch located at Cochin. We do have some strong personalities in our branch. Just to name a few, we have uh, Captain Radhika Menon, who is an honorary member of the Southwest branch. We have the latest edition of Reshma Nilofer. You must be knowing she is the first lady pilot of Kolkata Fortress. She's joined us at the Southwest branch. She's also a recipient of an award from the president. We do have Captain Meneses, who's on the executive board of Nautical Institute London, and Captain Shivaraman Krishnamurthy, who was the past president of the Nautical Institute London. So we are very proud that we have the strong personalities associated with the Nautical Institute Southwest branch. So once again, I welcome all of you who are connected to this event. As you know, we are connected on Zoom as well as YouTube and Facebook. And we normally have about 4,000 people live when this event is going on. So, Jillian, I would just like to share my screen for a moment. You have been kind enough to make me as a co-host.
Yes, you should have no problem sharing. That green button on the bottom.
Yes. Can you see my screen, Jillian?
Not yet. Yes.
Yes. So, as I mentioned, this is the 10th event of the Nautical Institute Certificate of Appreciation, and today we are appreciating fleet management. And as I mentioned, we have people connected from across the globe. Even there are seafarers connected to us from the ship. So I would hope you will all understand the need to keep the connectivity and overcome the challenges of bandwidth. I request all of you to keep your mics muted all throughout, and if possible, keep your videos turned off. We will be asking the speakers to unmute when they speak. Otherwise, I think just to help us with the schedule of today's event. And today, I have got special request to keep this event on time. So I hope all my speakers will help me in keeping things on schedule. Just before I hand over, let me also put up. Can you see the slide, Jillian?
Yes.
Okay, it's a media slide, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, it's very important that we have this media with us. And as you know, media is the voice of the seafarer or the voice for the seafarer. So either way you look, they are very important part of our industry. So I welcome all the media that we have today connected with this event. As I mentioned, we are going live on Sailor Today channel. So, as I mentioned, the strong personalities. I do have a strong personality with me right at the top of our Nautical Institute Southwest branch. He has been with the Indian Defence Forces for over 20 years. He moved over to the offshore industry, and I think we are very fortunate to have Captain Tom Joseph, who is the current chairman of the India Southwest branch located at Cochin. And I invite Captain Tom Joseph to welcome all our distinguished guests and speakers. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Captain Vinod, for all the good words. Distinguished speakers and guests, fellow members of Nautical Institute, colleagues and friends, good day to all. Needless to highlight the situation whereby seafarers were either stuck on board for longer than their contract, or they were stuck at home far longer than their 2 vacations put together. The former lot was mentally disturbed and vessel safety was exposed to an additional risk, whereas the later lot was financially wrecked as they were without any earning. It is estimated that about 300,000 seafarers out of about 1.2 million seafarers worldwide were overstaying on board without getting relieved in time. In such a scenario, some of the renowned companies took initiative and got government permissions to arrange crew change for Indian seafarers in Indian ports for those ships passing by the Indian Peninsula. We at the Nautical Institute India Southwest branch, with the blessings of NI London, decided to appreciate some of those agencies, individuals and companies who were key players in making the crew changes a reality. Today's event is 10th such event involving Fleet Management Limited. It may please be not construed that we have done any ranking of companies for this, but it's purely at random and convenience. I do not think that Fleet, as they are referred normally, require any introduction. Headquartered in Hong Kong, Fleet Management manages well over 600 diverse types of vessels manned by over 20,000 seafarers. There are about 900 short personnel working from 26 offices spread over 12 countries, managing ships owned by about 90 ship owners, few from even Fortune 500 companies. It is the seafarers manning these vessels who carry the reputation of such a conglomerate, and timely change around of crew certainly is one of the biggest factors when it comes to assessing the crew friendliness of any company. Fleet Management conspicuously did well to cover this aspect during this pandemic period, and hence this event to appreciate the company. Captain Prashant Ragnekar is Chief Operating Officer at Elegant Marine Services Private Limited, Mumbai, which is the crewing arm of Fleet Management Limited in India. Captain Prashant completed his pre-sea training at T.S. Rajendra in 1980 and started his career with India's Steam Navigation Company and subsequently served in Indian and Norwegian-owned vessels, where he rose to the rank of master. He joined Fleet Management in August 97 as Marine Superintendent and rose to the present position as Head of India Operations when he joined the company. Fleet had just 15 ships under their management, and today they have about 600 ships. He also set up the Fleet Management Training Institute at Navi Mumbai in 1998. The company has won many awards and recognitions during Captain Ragnekar's tenure, like Best Foreign Employer Seafarers, Indian Seafarers, and many more. Captain Prashant is currently the chairman of leading industry association, namely MASA, and is actively engaged in close liaison with DG Shipping and other industry bodies on important matters pertaining to training and deployment. Indians. We at the Nautical Institute are extremely grateful to Captain Prashant Ragnekar to be present here to accept the certificate of appreciation from the Nautical Institute. A hearty welcome, Captain Prashant Ragnekar, to this virtual meeting. Captain M.S. Nagarajan Management. He graduated from T.S. Rajendra in 1977 and completed his apprenticeship with the India Steam Navigation Company and went on to become master in 1989. Captain Nagarajan joined Fleet in 1997 and was the global head of manning till 2002. Until 2004, he focused on the operation of bulk ships and dry cargo vessels. In 2004, he became head of technical group. Since 2011, he is looking after manning and dry cargo operations at Captain Nagarajan. Captain Vikas Kriwal is Director Business Development at Fleet. A seasoned maritime professional, he can be said to be the strategy planner of Fleet. With a career spanning more than 26 years since 1994, he sailed on a range of vessels managed by Univan, MOL Ship Management, and Fleet Management. During 2004 to 2009, he served ashore at CSAV in various capacities, supporting the company's operations, alliances, and commercial functions. Captain Gruwal joined the fleet in 2009 as Marine Manager, Business Division, and was assistant to Fleet's founding managing director, Mr. Kishore Rajvanshi. In 2014, he took on the role of Head of Business Development and assumed the role of Director in 2020. Captain Grewal earned his MBA Finance in 2012 from Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, an avid trainer and group coach accredited by International Coach Federation. He was awarded Outstanding New Trainer by Hong Kong Management Association in May 2013. He is also the Charter President of Tung Chung Toastmasters Club in Hong Kong, which he founded in June 2018. A warm welcome to Captain Grewal to this virtual meeting. Ms. Gillian Carson Jackson, FNI FRIN, President Nautical Institute, London, graduated from Canadian Coast Guard College as a navigation officer. With over 3 decades in the industry, Gillian worked both afloat and ashore in the Canadian Coast Guard, including 10 years as an instructor at the Coast Guard College. Following an active role at Ayala in the development of VTS training, she moved to France to work with Ayala as technical coordination manager. She then moved to Australia to work with AMSA as manager of vessel traffic and pilotage services. In 2016, Gillian left AMSA to set up her own consultancy. She was appointed as director of Global Met later. Gillian represents the Nautical Institute at Ayala as chair of the Emerging Digital Technologies Working Group and the Personnel and Training Working Group. Ms. Gillian is a fellow of both Nautical Institute and Royal Institute of Navigation. I must say that it is Gillian's enthusiastic support that has earned such wide acclaim for these online events. And she is the first lady president of the Nautical Institute, London. On behalf of the Nautical Institute, particularly India Southwest Branch, and on my own behalf, I extend a hearty welcome to Ms. Gillian. Ms. Bridget Hogan. She is the Director of Publishing and Membership of the Nautical Institute, where she is responsible for the Institute's 100+ book titles, its magazine production, and its marketing and communications. She has been involved with the publishing industry for more than 40 years and has worked in the maritime industry in various roles for over 35 years. Bridget joined the Nautical Institute in 2008. She is also a member of the UK's Women in Maritime Task Force and Secretary of Vista UK. We at the Nautical Institute Southwest was to have spread a red carpet for her visit on 22nd March this year. However, we backtracked due to the pandemic scare. A warm welcome to Ms. Bridget Hogan to this virtual platform. Captain Sudhir Nafde, who is with us today, is the former nautical advisor to the Government of India. Captain Nafde started his career as a cadet with Great Eastern in 1959 and sailed with the company till 1972 in various ranks. Subsequently, he was superintendent with Maldives Shipping until 1991. From 1991 until 2003, he was with Government of India as Principal Officer, MMD, Nautical Advisor, and Director General Shipping. Presently, he is busy as a consultant. Most welcome to you, sir, to this virtual meeting. Captain Paraj Vijay Gangude is a sailing master with fleet and been a loyal fleetian since 2011. He last signed off on 17 August 2020 from motor tanker TRF Portland. He has taken time off his vacation to enlighten us on his signing off experience under severe restrictions due to the pandemic. A hearty welcome to you, Captain Parag. Mr. James Joseph Pandaraparambil, Chief Engineer, is yet another loyal fleetian since 2005. He signed off on 25th August from his last vessel, motor tanker Ridgebury Julia. He will also be sharing with us his experience on board and ashore during the sign-off period. I extend a warm welcome to Mr. James Joseph, Chief Engineer. Media has a big role to play when it comes to transmitting the problems faced by the seafarers to the government. Some of them who have been on a yeoman effort in this role are covering this event. I welcome Marek's Bulletin CN Jobs, Saga Sandesh, Taylor Today, and Bhandaka publications to this virtual meeting. I also extend a hearty welcome to Captain Vinod Naveen, Secretary, NA India Southwest, for anchoring this event. Captain Harry of NA India Southwest will be giving a sort of thanks, and all online and offline viewers, including members of the Nautical Institute, particularly Captain Joseph Thomas, our former president, Captain John Menezes, who was also our former president, and members of the other seafaring organizations, all my colleagues and friends. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Captain Tom Joseph. It's always a difficult task to give a welcome address on this event with so many eminent personalities. So I think you did quite a good job in welcoming all of them to this event. Thank you, sir. As I mentioned, today is an event of strong personalities. I do have another strong personality with us. Again, from the, as you heard in the welcome address, she was guarding the Canadian Coast Guard for over 20 years, right? So we have with us today our president, the first woman president of the Nautical Institute, headquartered at London, Miss Gillian. And let me tell you, she's very, very active in the maritime industry. She keeps talking to people. She keeps taking feedbacks, and you can see her everywhere on the social media promoting the maritime industry. We are fortunate that we have such a person with able leadership qualities to lead us at the Nautical Institute. I invite Ms. Gillian Carson Jackson, President of the Nautical Institute, London, but she's joining us from Canberra, Australia, to introduce to the audience about the Nautical Institute. Because as you know, Nautical Institute has got its footprints all over the world with so many branches, and very soon we will be reaching the 10,000 membership mark globally. So she will talk us through the Nautical Institute and the footprints that the Nautical Institute have across the globe. Over to you, Ms. Gillian.
Thank you so much, Vinod, and it is really an honor to be here again. So I've been asked to tell you a little bit who is the NI. Well, the Nautical Institute is the global community for maritime professionals. It's a non-governmental organization. It aims to promote professionalism, best practice, and safety throughout all of the maritime industry. As a membership organization, we work hard to represent our members. And from the way the Nautical Institute runs, although I am president, I am a member of my own branch. So I'm a member of the NI Southeast Australia branch. The NI works to promote the high standard and qualification of competence and knowledge of the maritime domain. We work to provide the strongest possible professional focus, and we're dedicated to improving standards and maintaining the Institute as an international center of excellence. Through our membership as individuals and through our branch network, we have the opportunity to have our voices heard locally, regionally, and at the international level. And this is because the Nautical Institute is recognized with the IMO as a consultative organization. And we also work, as you heard, closely with IALA. The branches are the opportunity for the members to think global, but act local. And through the NI headquarters committees and the extensive branch network, we all have an opportunity to get involved. There are over 70 branches of the Nautical Institute around the globe. These events that are organized by the members of the Southwest India branch represent all of the hard work that are put in by our members. And it really is important to recognize we are a professional organization. So we are a grouping of members who work on a voluntary basis to support our organization. So all of the effort that goes into these events is done through the volunteer work of the branch members, including Captain Vinod, Captain Tom, and the full team. So thank you all for your hard work to do this. As we know, COVID-19 has had an impact on all of our lives. Crew change is so difficult, but it's not impossible. The delays, the long times on board vessels, this puts a strain on us all. It's so important that we work together, we recognize the hardships, we support the seafarers and their families, and we celebrate the good news stories. And that's what we have a chance to do at these events, is to celebrate the good news. It's a time to celebrate what we've been able to achieve, but yet also recognize there's still so much more to be done. The hard work that is being done to facilitate the sign on and sign off for our crews is also important to recognize that. The effort that's being gone in to support the full maritime industry. Today, we have a chance to hear from those who've experienced firsthand the time on board vessel and the effort taken to do crew change. It's wonderful to have you with us here today. So thank you for taking the time out and to tell us about what it is that you are experiencing, and to give us a chance to express our thanks to all seafarers for all the work that they're doing to ensure that the ships keep moving and the cargo keeps moving. So the Nautical Institute is a very broad-ranging organization. We are there to support our members, and we have a number of various specific activities that we do to do that. But I think I'll pass that on, and I'll let Bridget talk a little bit about some of the work that we do with our members. So thank you very much. It is an honor again to be here, and I look forward to the event.
Thank you, Ms. Gillian. And as our chairman spoke in the welcome address, that it has been, you've been very supportive to the Indian Southwest branch for the conduct of these events for almost last 2 months. I mean, I didn't realize that we had the first event on July 9th, and now we are on September 19th. So it's been 2 months. And thank you very much for all the support that you've been giving for each and every event. Thank you, Gillian. Yes, as our president spoke about the Nautical Institute, and the Nautical Institute being a professional body promoting best practices, especially with regard to safety. Let me tell you that the Nautical Institute do a lot of work in this regard. We have a lot of editorials in the form of newsletters, publications. We have magazines, which carry the voice of the maritime industry. And we do have these magazines and publications written by professionals for professionals. As you heard, the Nautical Institute is a professional body which has taken up this task of enhancing professionalism in the maritime professionals. We have members from different walks of the maritime industry, and we work tirelessly towards enhancing the entire professionalism of the maritime industry. I think there is no better person than Ms. Bridget Hogan to speak us about all this, and we are fortunate that it is for the first time that we have Bridget on this event, and I think she will talk us more in detail with regard to these editorials and the kind of projects and safety related works that the Nautical Institute carry out headquartered at London. She is also the director of membership. She controls the memberships of the Nautical Institute. We have different grades of membership. So I hope Ms. Bridget will talk us through and introduce the different membership that the Nautical Institute has in offer. So we are very happy and fortunate, Bridget, that you are with us today for the first time. So let me invite Ms. Bridget Hogan, the Director of Publications and Membership from Nautical Institute London, to talk us through the various publications, editorials, and membership of the Nautical Institute. Over to you, Ms. Bridget.
Thank you very much, Captain Naveen, and thank you to everyone in the branch under the excellent leadership of Captain Joseph for the opportunity to speak to you today. As you can imagine, I'm desperately disappointed that I didn't make it earlier in the year, but I imagine that against the background of the serious issue that we are discussing today, that's a minor inconvenience, but quite a shame that I'm not actually with you in person. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would like to say a warm welcome to all the members of the Nautical Institute who are attending, especially to our new members. I do hope that you will gain benefit from your membership, because this is what we strive for. We, as an institute, are very lucky with our members. They are very generous in sharing their skills and experience to help improve best practice in the maritime industry throughout the world. And why do they want to do that? We can put it very succinctly in a sentence. We want to keep the vessels safe. And we think that a safe vessel is an efficient vessel, and an efficient vessel we think is going to be profitable. So even if we didn't care about the welfare of the crew, which we do, we would care about the bottom line. And we think that if that safety is well worth pursuing. And these webinars are helping to spread the word. And I congratulate India Southwest on this fantastic initiative. And I agree with you, it would be quite difficult to give certificates to individual seafarers, but I do hope the companies that you are honouring with these certificates will spread the word to their crews that they have been appreciated, because they are an invisible but essential workforce to keep the world going during these terrible times. And I know anxiety levels are very high, and how they must be on vessels, we can only imagine. But we are here to try to help them in the Nautical Institute throughout all our membership around the world. And we have members in over 100 countries, so we do consider ourselves rather international. And we think that by spreading the word about best practice, by making them feel better about the job they do, by making them feel much stronger when they want to improve the way they work, that we are benefiting them as individuals as well as the industry as a whole. So best practice, we explore through our technical membership and our technical staff what that best practice should be, depending on the topic. And then we try to disseminate that information throughout the world. We do it through webinars like this. We do it through technical seminars when we are allowed to meet physically. And we do it by going out and meeting people and representing the membership on fora from International Maritime Organization downwards. And Gillian is very active at IALA, as was pointed out. So we are very active. We're not passive. We are very active, and we want keen people who are certain that they can improve things to join us and make us stronger. So how do we tell people about the good practices that we want to see adopted? We have a monthly magazine, which I don't think you can see, Seaways. This is full of technical articles written and peer-reviewed by experts in their field. And what we're talking about here is going beyond the minimum. We say, congratulations, you have your COC. That proves that you can become a brilliant master or whatever rank you're at. We will help you go from good to better. So reading Seaways is part of your CPD. From Seaways, you can get a lot of information that keeps you absolutely up to date with thinking. But we realized this wasn't enough, especially for the more junior officers of the cohort. We were concerned because they did not seem to be regarding themselves as professionals, yet here they are holding the watch and doing responsible things on board. So we wanted to do a little bit of a mentoring exercise, and mentoring was mentioned earlier. And we wanted to do a little bit of a hand-holding exercise to give them confidence when they wanted to improve practice on board. So we initiated our Navigator project. And we're very lucky to get sponsorship from this, from a variety of sources, but principally from IFAN, the International Foundation for Aids to Navigation. And we distribute this 3 times a year. We print 100,000 copies, and ships agents, shipping organisations, shipping operators, pilots, harbour masters, welfare organisations help us distribute it to as many SOLAS vessels and maritime colleges as we can get to. So please go on the website, have a look. It's available in a soft form on our website. It's a completely free magazine. We want people to benefit from it. So please tell people about it. We know it's appreciated. We get a tsunami of good comments when that comes forward. We know as well that there are aspects of change on board ships as automation comes in, as there's mergers, as people are, crews shrink in size. So we have ambitions. We hope to get sponsorship to produce another magazine for the whole crew, not just for the bridge. And that's the ship's officer. We've done one pilot issue, which was very well received, but so far we haven't been lucky enough to attract sponsorship. So if anybody is feeling generous out there, please see me afterwards. We also publish, as Captain Naveen mentioned, about 100 book titles, and this is our latest one. And it might look a slim volume. The whole idea is actually not to solve all your problems if you're first time on a bulk carrier or first time with a certain cargo, but it is to get you thinking. And between the authors and the peer reviewers, we had 21 experts from all over the world on top of their game. We had the support of Intercargo. We work collaboratively with the industry. And we work collaboratively with our members as well. And this year, we started our strategic review to produce a strategic plan for the next 5 years from 2021. And to do that, we polled all our members and some non-members as well who were interested. Now, our discussions have really fired us up at HQ as we've looked at what members said. And our plan now is to see all the crisis around COVID-19 as an opportunity for change. We are going to change structurally at NIHQ to serve our members much more professionally, much more streamlined, to give them much better value for money and clear the way for the technical work. That's what we want to see. So there we are. I would say I have an open invitation to all of you, because if you're participating in this webinar, then you are trying to improve, you are doing your CPD, you are absolutely trying to share what you know as well. I would say, if you want to participate in any Nautical Institute project, please get in touch with me. I have 2 at the moment, which I'm really trying to progress. One is on best practice in bridge watchkeeping, and the other is best practice in building bridge teams. If you have a particular interest in that, if you have a little grain of sand within you that will become a pearl, please get in touch with me. And if you know somebody who has a burning ambition to help on that, on the world stage, then, as I say, we are open at the Nautical Institute. And if you think it's a good idea to keep questioning about best practice and to keep defining it as our world changes, then please join us, make us stronger, because together we really can make a difference, as the India Southwest branch has shown. And I do thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bridget. I'm sure, when you stressed upon the point that you are working on safe ships and efficient ships, I'm sure Captain Nagarajan and Captain Ragnekar has taken note of what you just spoke and what you are doing for the industry. And let me also tell the audience that Ms. Bridget brings along, I think, 40 years of industry experience, and out of that, probably 30 years in the shipping industry. And I think I read somewhere that you were a senior editor when you were just at the age of 21. So she's been working for the industry for so long, and I myself has been beneficiary of one of the publications of the Nautical Institute. Yes, I did get my master's COC, but what really helped me was the ship handling publication that I read from the Nautical Institute when I really had to use it on board the ship. So thank you, Bridget, for coming along and introducing and talking about the work of the Nautical Institute. Thank you. We did mention that all your mics and cameras are muted for bandwidth issues, but our chat box is open. We would like you to use the chat box, to introduce yourself, tell us about yourself. Please be free to use the chat box. I also did see a few of them, so let me extend a welcome to Captain Halbe, who is the CEO of MASA, Dr. Simon, who is the president of the Mariners Society here in Kerala. I extend my welcome to Captain Basin, Captain Subir Subedar, and my fellow Nautical Institute members. I could see Mr. Walter, Vice President, joining from Belgium, Captain Duncan McKilvey joining from UK, and my good friend Manoj Chirkani from Tolani. So, and yes, I did also see Mr. Amar Singh Thakur, who is the General Secretary of the Maritime Union of India. So, welcome all of you to this event. As I mentioned, today is an event of strong personalities and kind-hearted people. Let me tell you, and I think all of you would agree that when fleet management started, probably decades before, they were a handful of ships, handful of people, and handful of seafarers. And as you just heard in the welcome address today, they are close to about 600 ships, close to 1,000 people working ashore, and 20,000 seafarers. And to rise from that, small beginning to what they are today requires a lot of hard work and commitment. And here we have a person who has been committed for this very cause, put in all his hard work, been there with fleet management for more than 20 years now, a very strong personality, a personality who has got the fleet management to what they are today. Let me invite Captain M.S. Nagarajan, the Executive Director, Fleet Management, to introduce fleet management to the audience. I think it will be a difficult task because everybody knows about who and what is fleet management, but still we would like to hear it from you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinod. In a seminar or in an event, it is always difficult to speak after a very strong speaker. So I must compliment Gillian and Bridget Hogan, who did a great job. So it's going to be very difficult to follow that act, but I'll try my best. Just to inform the audience, the talk about fleet management, who we are, and where we are positioned in the industry. I want to leave it to my colleague, Captain Grewal, who does the business. He's a director of the business division. So if the audience can bear with me, I would concentrate on the softer side of the whole event. So to begin with, let me thank Gillian Jackson, Tom Joseph, Bridget Hogan, Captain Nafte, Captain Hari Krishnan, and my colleagues and all my seafarers who've joined us today in this event to appreciate fleet management by the Nautical Institute. Nautical Institute itself is very dear to me. I've been a member for over 10 years, and I fully endorse all the publications and all the efforts they do. And their mass section or the industry sharing platform that they use is excellent. So, having recognized Nautical Institute, I must come back to the core issue that we're going to talk about, that is crew changes in this time of pandemic. To repeat what Gillian and what Bridget said actually. Safety is the most important issue, and it's linked to everything that we do. From where I sit as an organization, in this event, I want to sincerely thank every one of my seafaring colleagues on our ships, who I think have shown exemplary leadership and fortitude in living through these challenging times, and continue to do so as we trundle on in this fight together to keep the wheels of world commerce turning. This is the truth, and there are some of them who are fortunate to have with me, Captain Parag Gangurde and Joseph. They are here with me. Support in these times are scarce to come by, with local politics overly concentrating on the local population. And sometimes it makes the seafarers feel as if, even though they're citizens of their own country or some other country, and on planet Earth, they have landed from some alien planet, especially in these times when we have a sick crew member on board, or even when we have to sign off somebody. This has been the overarching experience that I have had, and many an hour has been spent talking to people on the ship, and I'm sure that Parag will share his own story on this. In this effort, I want to thank the efforts of Government of India and all its branches of the Maritime Administration and the maritime unions in India and all the media that have joined us today. They deserve a special thanks from me in recognizing the need of the hour and working with the industry to find solutions, whether it be creating bubble flights or a hub for transport for the seafarers, or simply creating an e-pass to transit the states from one state to another. There are many stories I can share where people have called in the middle of the night, stopped at the border. My colleague here, Captain Mahadik, has been on the phone calling from the police chief to everybody to get the car through with that seafarer. These are indelible memories that are etched in my brain. IMO, ITF have been trying to desperately classify seafarers as essential workers. I think they have done some work. A lot needs to be done. I think as a Nautical Institute and as a professional organization, maybe we can also help them to push this in this direction. So maybe one day I will see visa-free travel for seafarers. Having said that, I have seen of late, with the help of the ITF, we have online visas for seafarers in Canada, and also the governments of Australia and New Zealand have allowed people to apply visas online. This has helped a bit, but the flight and the airline industry is another story. But let's only stick to the positives. Apart from the seafarers, I wish to recognize our partner ship owners who had to accept much higher cost. It's just cost and more cost in these difficult times. And sometimes I have calculated and told them that they are paying at least 4 times the original cost. They have been kind enough, and they have been supportive. Some charterers, including BHP and some others, have also come to the table with extra time, without penalties for crew change, and sharing of bunker costs, especially during these pandemic times. In all these challenges, costs, the one exception has been the PSC and the interpretation of the contracts of the seafarers. We have absolutely been flabbergasted by the interpretation of some of the PSCs when despite having flag state approval, they have gone ahead and stopped the ship, and sometimes you feel vilified. But as we know, we take it on the chin and move on. To my fellow seafarers staying on board for a long time with a constant threat to the port of call, fearing infection, That is mental stress, and I've had many a conversation with many captains and the crew who have initially refused to go to China. Now they refuse to go to Brazil, and every time we have to use all our skills to keep the ship moving. And to be fair, their fears are absolutely well founded, but we've had good operating procedures which has helped them and kept the ship moving without any issue of getting infected. As an organization, we continue to change the protocols as the pandemic moves from country to country, and India today has the dubious distinction of increasing cases at 100,000 a day. But we still have seafarers to go on board. We find ways of quarantining them. Captain Rangneckar and his team have been really hard pressed, and they have been managing the show very well. So, in conclusion, I would express my sincere thanks to all my colleagues, starting from Captain Rangneckar, Captain Mahadik, and all my colleagues in India and in Manila and in China, Amsterdam, and associates all over the world who, despite changing protocols, despite all the odds, arrange crew changes, get the people back home on a daily basis. I think if I remember last, we've done about 12 to 13,000 crew movements in the last 4 to 5 months. So this is, I call them the unsung heroes. Today, thanks to Nautical Institute, we are recognizing them too, apart from the seafarers. Thank you so much, and thanks to all of you who have joined us, and wishing you a very good weekend, wishing all the seafarers safe sailing, healthy sailing, and we are always there to support you. Thank you for your support in sailing on board the ships. Thank you. Thank you, Captain Vinod. Thank you, Nautical Institute.
Thank you, Captain Nagarajan. I think you just proved my opening statement right. I said kind-hearted people, and you have been really kind-hearted to extend the appreciation to all those organizations and people who have worked in this pandemic supporting the cause of seafarers. Sign on, sign off. I think you mentioned a range of people and organizations in your speech, and yet a strong personality when you said yes. Sometimes we need to take it on our chin and move on. I should tell you, Captain Nagarajan, that your name has been taking rounds in the Indian maritime industry. Many of the seminars and conferences that I have attended, your name is taken. So though we miss you at India, it is happy that we got you on this event today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Just a word for the port of Virinjam, and since you are in the southwest, I can congratulate the state of Kerala, port of Virinjam, and Cochin. Cochin, we have actually done 1,000 crew changes, and Virinjam, we have now come to, I think, 150. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Since you mentioned about Kerala and Cochin, let me also tell you and welcome Captain Joseph Alapat, who is the Deputy Conservator of Cochin Port Trust, is on this event. He is also the Vice Chairman of the Nautical Institute Southwest Branch. So welcome, Captain Alapat. I also extend a welcome to Captain Philip Matthews, ex-SCI. I also welcome my counterpart in Chennai branch, Captain Mesra, and also very important, all these days, I think very important that the support extended by the families of seafarers. I can see a lot of family members on this event. Thank you to all of you for supporting the seafarers and also the shore staff who've been working behind the curtains. We on the ship work on shifts and extended working hours, but I don't think the people working ashore were really tuned to working 24/7 to get the seafarers home as well as to sign on. So welcome to all of you, and thank you to all the shore staff who have been working behind. I did mention about how fleet management has come up from a few handful of ships to 500 odd ships, and 20,000 seafarers. But you know, you would also appreciate the fact that when an organization is coming up to the top, we always have a goal to look upon, and we channelize all our energy towards that goal, and then we become successful. But let me tell you that to maintain that success at that top position is yet another challenge. It requires systems to be put in place, processes to be put in place, and a whole lot of hard work and commitment to keep that top spot on. And as you're all aware, fleet management is one of the largest ship management companies today, and probably the one sought out by many of the owners. So, as Captain Nagarajan spoke, he said, I invite Captain Vikas Doiwal, who is the Director of Business Development, Fleet Management, to talk us more about fleet management. Over to you, Captain Vikas.
I think Mike is.
You are still muted, Captain Vikas.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. I just wanted to thank again Ms. Gillian, Ms. Bridget, Captain Vinod, and Captain Tom, my fellow colleagues, Captain Naga in particular. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to brief this fine audience on Fleet's areas of activities. 25 years ago, when we started Fleet, our team, and I was on the ship that time as a third mate, so I consider me part of that initial team, had a dream to provide the best ship management services in the world. Fleet was actually built on a vision to be a ship manager that clients would be proud to be partner. And a lot of the success is attributable to the initial team, including Captain Aga, Captain Prashant Rangnikar. Today, 25 years later, when we see Fleet being recognized as one of the largest ship management companies in the world, with both our initial clients like Spar Shipping and Vroon, and our initial team like Captain Naga, Captain Prashant Rangnikar, side by side, to us, it's the greatest gift of all. Our marketing brochures, websites, tweets, and Instagram may shout out our highlights, but few would know of each thread, the ups and downs that have gone into creating this tapestry that we see today. From 1 to 600 ships across diverse ship types, our journey has been completely organic, and really that's what stands apart. If you see the top 5 managers, most of them are a merger of 4 to even 10 companies. But Fleet, after 25 years, remains the only organic company in the top 5 ship managers today. So over these 25 years, we have learned from each other, grabbed every opportunity we could, and molded our 25 years success story step by step. It has paid off well, becoming the second largest bulk carrier manager in the world, the second largest tanker manager in the world, and the 5th largest container manager. That's 2% of all bulkers and tankers in the world, and some 1% of container ships. By that measure, our team across 25 offices in 12 countries supports some 2% of world trade. And to all of us at Fleet, that is a hugely humbling responsibility. Now, I would like to share a few slides because a lot of numbers, and I thought it best to be on the slides. I'll keep it very snappy. So if the moderator could please allow me to share my screen.
Gillian, would you do that?
Yes, you should have the opportunity now to share your screen as co-host.
Thank you so much. Can everybody see this?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you so much. So 25 years of history, 600 vessels and 20,000 seafarers. Going into specifics, that would be 545 ships. Half of these are bulk carriers. And I would say this is the second largest bulk carrier fleet in the world. The largest bulk carrier fleet in the world is managed by Anglos. And it's the second largest tanker fleet in the world as well. The largest tanker fleet in the world is managed by V Group. We also manage some 64 vessels. That's the supervision of these ships in yards across China, Korea, and Japan. In all, year to date, we have delivered more than 200 quality ships. So 2 main services, ship management, that is full technical and crewing, and new building supervision. These are two service focus areas. Bulk fleet, if we dive into the second largest fleet in the world, you would see we would have the largest number of geared bulk carriers, Supramaxes, Ultramaxes, handy-size bulk carriers. Together, this would be nearly 150 vessels. We also manage, of course, VLO seas, Newcastle Max, and Cape-size bulkers. These are some of the operators that we work with, well-established names. And of course, Caravel is our group company. They're also an operator. In fact, the largest iron ore trader in the world last year. The tanker fleet is impressively diversified. The chemical tanker fleet, the parcel chemical tanker fleet, in fact, these 103 vessels is the largest chemical tanker fleet in the world. The MR tanker fleet, the product tankers, 65, oil chem, and 20. Product is also the second largest fleet in the world. These are some of the operators that we work with, well-established names. These are the time charters that our ships are chartered to. Coming to the container fleet, this is the 5th largest container fleet in the world, and I would say amongst the leading managers for ultra-large container ships, 14,000 TEUs to 20,000 TEU ships. These are some of the charters to which these 63 ships are chartered to. The COSCO Shipping Panama was the first container ship to ever cross the expanded Panama Canal, and this ship continues to be under our management. It was very funny for us. This is our Indian master. This is the president of Panama who welcomed the ship and the master. And COSCO Shipping flew, they were the charterers, they flew their own captain, Chinese captain, to also participate in this function. So that's why you see both masters, the Indian master, the actual master, and the COSCO master, which was done for PR purposes. Offices and clients, these are some of our 25 offices. So the Hong Kong was the headquarters that we started in 1995. We managed around 360 vessels from Hong Kong. The largest branch office is Singapore that manages around 120 vessels. Amsterdam, London, Cyprus, and Mumbai manage the remaining around 80 vessels, with Cyprus managing around 40 and the remaining around 10 to 15 ships. We have representative offices in Stanford and Houston to manage the more than 40 vessels which are there on the US coast at any time. Offices in Auckland to take care of the ships in Australia and New Zealand, around 10 of them at any time. Istanbul, taking care of all the ships in the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. We have a business office now in Copenhagen, and also in Dubai and Busan. The one in Dubai is taking care of bunker barges, around 6 of them. Our crewing is handled out of India, where we have around 11 offices. Manila for Filipino seafarers, and Dalian for our Chinese seafarers. These are some of our clients. So in all, we have more than 100 clients, 108 now. And these are 40% in Europe, 40% in Asia, 10% in the Americas, and 10% in the Middle East and Indian subcontinent, South Asia. And this is actually very reflective of and very representative of today's ownership share across the world. Some of our owners in Japan, in fact, in Japan, we would be the largest manager for third-party manager for Japanese clients. So clients include K-Line, MOL, Mitsubishi, Marubeni, Sumitomo. The rest of Asia, Shandong Shipping, Tata NYK in Singapore, Sinocor in Korea, USCC in Dubai, Sinopec in Hong Kong. In Europe, Celsius Shipping, Norden, Tom, Spar Shipping, Vroon, Seven Seas, Tufton, and in USA, a lot of private equity like Altena Capital, Amur Capital, Diamond Dash Shipping, and some grain houses, the largest grain house in the world, Archer Daniel Midland. In terms of quality benchmarking, this will give you a representation of the largest ship managers in the world what we call as the 100+ club. So there are around 60,000 ships in the world which are more than 1,000 deadweight and younger than 30 years. And out of these 60,000 ships, around 6,000 are outsourced to companies like Anglo Eastern, Fleet Management, V Group, and the names that you are familiar with. Out of these 6,000, around 4,000 are managed by these 13 companies. So this just gives you a snapshot of where they are today. This is only full technical management, including crewing. And if you would want to see the top managers, 6 managers, how do they perform on quality, Anglo and Fleet, this is the PSC records in terms of detention ratios. How many detentions do you have? After how many inspections do you have one detention? It's like the probability of a detention. So the average for the industry is around 120, and you would see that companies like Fleet and Anglo are the higher end, having one detention every 140 inspections. The US Department for Homeland Security accreditation certificates, Qualship 21, E0 program that you're very familiar with. Well, this is a fact to share. 6% of the world's certified Qualship 21 are managed by Fleet, and 10% of the E0 program is also, these ships are managed at Fleet Management. In terms of infrastructure, these are the 4 pillars that we have built our service over the last 25 years. Paris, it was the first ERP, even before Maersk had it. We are investing another $3 million to take it to the next level in the next few years. And this was 20 years ago, we started Paris. FMTI, our training institute across India, the largest being in Mumbai. TOLAS is online training, product training on land and sea that we started off in 2007. Again, in 2007, 13 years ago, it was the first online training program for seafarers. And Safer Plus, it's a behavior-based safety program and safety leadership, where we, through appreciative inquiry, encourage our seafarers to exhibit their best and make the right decisions for themselves and their colleagues. Paris, it's not Eiffel Tower, it's the dashboard of an ERP system. So everything you got to do with, nowadays you type into marine traffic and get to know where the vessel's position is, but we started doing it in 2002. Because these small things, these industry first that we started with is we gathered a lot of, organically, we picked up a lot of clients. So way back in 2002, when we started Paris, a lot of ship owners would think that ship management is like a black box. You put the money in, but you don't know where it goes. So this helped in bring a lot of transparency into the system. And as a first mover advantage, it really helped us to get a head start in getting a lot of clients across Japan and Asia who are cost conscious. FMTI is our training institute, world-class training institute in Mumbai. Navi Mumbai, some of you might have had the opportunity to be there. TOLAS, our online training system, with more than 1,000 training modules, all made in-house by FMTI, our training institute, and uploaded for our onboard seafarers and those on holiday to get updated on the go. So this is a 13-year-old system that we started. CBD is computer-based training is now very, very common. This is something we started way back in 2007. And Safer Plus, this is a program we are extremely proud of. In the last, we must have spent maybe $3 million US, all in behavior-based training to help our seafarers speak out on stop works, on near misses. And I think this investment has really helped us, that our seafarers trust Fleet and are, during this pandemic time when we need them and we are supporting them, they trust us, and we are having these smooth sailings. Crisis response management is something that we started off along with our Fleet Cares initiative, one of the Fleet Care initiative that Captain Randhir Mahadik has been leading in India under Captain Prashant Rangnicker. So this is something that we started off in March, 24-hour hotline crisis that we are doing along with Sailor Society. Awards, this is the most prestigious award. That's Captain Nagarajan for you. This is something, the Hong Kong flag, it's the fourth largest flag in the world. And they have around 250 companies that have the Hong Kong flag DOC. And every year for the last 12 years, they recognize the top 5 DOC holders with the best port stage control inspection record. And of all the 13 managers that I showed you in the 100 plus club, only Fleet Management and Anglo Eastern have ever received these awards. We have received it for 8 of the last 12 times. So this is a award you can't pay for, and so we are really, and Nautical Institute as well, something that you cannot pay for. But these are the awards that we are really proud of. So thank you so much for listening for the short summary, and I'll stop the sharing.
Are you done, sir?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Captain Vikas. That was quite a global footprint for fleet management in terms of your global offices as well as in terms of your clients. Quite a remarkable record with regard to port state inspections, and I think you have quite advanced in the usage of technology. As you mentioned, in 2002 itself, you have started your interface with technology. So that is quite good initiatives, and I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to you today would probably be looking at sailing with fleet management.
Thank you,
All
sir.
the best. Yes, sir. And yes, there is something which is which we both have in common, as Bridget was speaking about the initiatives with regard to safer and efficient ships, and you also showed us some of the initiatives. So I'm sure you will have something to share with Bridget after the show. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you.
Everybody in the industry knows how vital are ships today to the, I would even say, survival of mankind on this earth. That is how important ships are. But probably people outside the maritime industry are ignorant of the responsibilities that the seafarers take on their shoulders to keep those ships operating 24/7 in extreme conditions. Or maybe there are people who are aware of it, but probably take it for granted that this is what the seafarers are supposed to do. And we know, being in the industry, how tough it is for a seafarer. And I would say the seafarer is much more than a key worker. If I relate it with our shipping terminology, I would say a seafarer is more like the D shackle in that anchor cable, which is connecting the cable to the anchor. Now, such is the kind of strong characters that we need today, especially today with extended contracts and the kind of stress that seafarers go through. It is definitely much more than just calling them as key workers. I have 2 fellow seafarers with me who will share their experience of how they, what are the situation on board and how fleet management has helped them with the seafarers on board the ship. So first I will have Captain Parag to come on and share his experience of how things are on board and what is the support extended by fleet management. Over to you, Captain Parag. And I would just remind that we have just crossed the midway. We are slightly behind schedule, so we would like the speakers coming on just help us to keep the event back on schedule. Thank you. Over to you, Captain Parag.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Nice to speak on this forum, representing the seafarers. And basically, I want to give an insight to all the seafarers, who are stranded out at sea, their family members at home, that don't be disappointed if you are at sea. I mean, you're stranded at sea. The companies are doing, including our company and also other companies, they are doing enough they're doing whatever they can to get us back. So I just want to share my journey, on my last ship. I was sailing on a very large crude carrier moving around 2 million barrels of oil and mostly trading between China and loading in the Western Africa and discharging in China, which is quite a long voyage. And we got to know of the COVID situation by the beginning of March, and the company was also aware of it, and they actually planned in advance to get the crew off, because some people are nearing their contract, And but unfortunately, while the crew change was being planned, the fortunately or unfortunately, I cannot say, but the Indian government, they just closed the international inbound flights to India. And we are already transiting Singapore, and we're supposed to sign off there with all our bags packed, about 16 of us, and happy to go home. I was one of them, and the captain who was supposed to relieve me also flew down all the way to Delhi from his hometown in Jammu. But because of the sudden closure of flights, we couldn't sign off the ship. We couldn't disembark from the ships, and of course, all of us were disappointed. And we were expecting some delays in China, so it's okay for the officers and the senior management, but the crew, the ratings, they do generally long contracts, 9 months and all. So many had finished, close to 9 months, 10 months. But then I would like to again thank, the crew members on board for supporting me and understanding the situation, because it needs a lot of efforts. You need to connect a lot of dots to carry out a crew change in this COVID situation. Moving a VLCC and getting it off when you're loaded, getting a deviation, it costs a lot of money, and it's very difficult to convince the charterers. The stakes are quite high. But I would thank our operations team and our manning team, our crewing department, to directly try to convince the charterers to allow the ship to deviate, with the cargo loaded. And they did whatever they could. But unfortunately, as everybody is saying here, the seafarers are yet to be considered as essential workers. All the countries, all the seafaring nations, they want their cargo, they want their piece of cargo, their equipment, but they won't allow the seafarers to come down and step on their shore, which is very unfortunate. But what I'm trying to say to my fellow seafarers is that don't lose hope, and also the families on board, the families of the people on board, try to support your people on board. When the family supports you, you are more than happy. One stress less when the family isn't pestering that when you're coming back home, So that gives us a lot of hope. And of course, I'll continue with my journey. I don't have much time, but the company tried to get us off at Hong Kong when we were loaded. Unfortunately, they got the approval from the Singapore Marine Authority. They require a lot of notices and a lot of paperwork and regulations, but they managed to do it at a very short notice. In fact, they require 14 days notice, but I think we managed to get it in that within 13 or 14 days. But unfortunately, the charterers didn't agree, and the ship went to China again. And China, of course, the situation was bad, and the crew change couldn't be carried out there. So we were stranded in China also for about 1 month. By the time we came back to Singapore, Singapore had stopped the crew change because of rise in COVID cases. Then eventually we again went back on a long voyage to West Africa. Of course, West Africa, most of the ports, even in a normal situation, it's very difficult to carry out crew change. So on the loaded passage back, the company again tried to get us off at Sri Lanka. By that time, the port of Galle had become a major crew change hub. But again, we were very unfortunate, and the day we were supposed to reach Galle, even Sri Lankan authorities stopped the crew change. So again, the next option was Singapore. Singapore again, we managed to get the approval of the MTA, but unfortunately the charters didn't agree again, because it cost a lot of expenses on the charters and the owners. And by this time, I was very happy that the crew on board, they also understood the situation. They understood that the stakes are high, and they very rightly cooperated with me and said, it was the atmosphere okay, let's leave it to the master and the company now. And they were not asking me any further questions, so that made my life much more easier. And then again, we went to China for discharging. And after China, fortunately, we got a voyage back to Persian Gulf for loading. And this time it was much easier for the company to convince the charterers to get the ship off the normal route. And so we diverted off to Cochin. And Cochin, everything was carried out. It was a fantastic arrangement by all our fleet team. In fact, we were coordinating with the Bombay office because when the time change was different, Hong Kong office was directly coordinating with us. Thank you, Captain Aga. Captain Aga and we were on the phone like for so many times coordinating this. And even the Bombay office, Captain Rangnekar, and we had our tanker operations team, which convinced the charterers to deviate the ship. I would like to thank them also. And finally, we could divert the ship to Cochin, and we could get off there. It was beautifully arranged. The company gave us a nice quarantine stay. They put me in a nice suite. Thank you again, fleet management. And we stayed there for 7 days, and then finally, what we were waiting for, meeting our loved ones after 9 months. It was cannot be expressed. And also, I would like to thank the joiners. In fact, I forgot to mention one thing. We even tried to get the crew change done at Hong Kong. And the company took the efforts to fly the crew well in advance to Hong Kong. So they flew there on the 21st of July. And the ship was reaching there around 28th or 29th. But unfortunately, there also the Hong Kong authorities cancelled crew change the day we were supposed to arrive. So we got stuck thrice. So unfortunately, because of that, our relievers also had to leave their house, leave their homes. And by the time they got onto the ship, it was almost 1 month. So they had to go through a lot of quarantine and multiple COVID tests. So I would like to thank them also. And but finally, we were home. I'm happy to be here speaking on this forum, sharing my experience, and thank all the good people here. And this is my first time on a open forum like this. So thank you, Fleet Management for and the Nautical Institute for giving me a chance. And once again, I would like to thank everybody, our Executive Director, Captain Aga. Thank you very much, sir. I troubled you a lot that time. Once I called up our Managing Director instead of you. Thank you, Captain Rangnekar, and the entire fleet team, the travel team, the paperwork, the e-passes, the traveling arrangement. And again, the messages for my fellow seafarers: don't lose hope. Stay where you are. You will eventually come home and be with your families. Don't get stressed. Be safe. Enjoy together. And be a support to each other. And also, I would like to make an appeal to the various countries that please consider seafarers as essential workers. You want your cargo, but you don't want the people getting them to step on your shores. So please consider everything. And this I would like to end my experience sharing. Thank you once again, everybody. Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Captain Parag, for sharing your journey. I would say on a lighter note, pen down the memories somewhere down. I mean, these are memories which should not be lost. Yes, you are right. Everybody wants their cargo, but they don't want to look at the people who are bringing those cargo. And that is exactly what the Nautical Institute is doing. And that is exactly why we started this campaign, to bring to limelight people like you, who are the real people who are running behind the show, in delivering the cargo on time. And as one of the speakers spoke, we have just a second. Just switch on that switch. As one of the speakers spoke, COVID times is also seen as an opportunity. So you said it's the first time that you are on a webinar like this. So that is a positive out of the COVID. And I liked your opening remark. Your opening remark was quite strong, and an appeal to all the families to not lose hope and support the seafarers. I think that is very important. I think it is a very strong message that you send. There are a lot of families on the show. I can see a lot of chat messages coming from them, thanking people like Captain Ragnikar and Captain Agarach and Captain Vikas for all these efforts. So, it is a strong message, and I'm sure this is what the seafarers would like to hear from people like you who have just come back from the ship. Thank you once again, Captain Farhad.
Thank you so much.
Next up, I think always when we have an event, I look up for people from my fellow state. So today, I'm fortunate that I have somebody from my state of Kerala, God's own country, Chief Engineer James Joseph. I invite him next to share his experience of signing off from one of the ships. Over to you, James Joseph.
Thank you, Captain Navin. Thank you, Nautical Science, Nautical Institute, and thank you, everybody, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. I was sailing as chief engineer with Ridgebury Julia, my last ship, till mid of February. Till mid of February, it was sailing from America to Mexico. And all of a sudden, we started getting this message for loading from America and going to Japan. And that is the time this pandemic coronavirus was started. And we started getting news on a daily basis regarding the graph of the individual country, the coronavirus is spreading, how fast it is spreading, and how much people are getting affected. And all of a sudden, when we started getting a message of loading from Japan, loading for Japan, we were little bit, anxiety arose among everybody else. Since most of the people were planning for their sign-off from Japan. And companies started saying that we will try for Panama transit sign-off. And a few of the people were signed off from Panama Canal. Later on, when the vessel moved to Japan, it was like we were arriving by end of March. And the company had already arranged for this end of March sign-off. Vessel arrived around 26th of March, but by the time vessel arrived on 26th of March, on 24th of March, we got a message that India went under lockdown. And from there, all the problems started. Everybody was like anxiety among all the crew started, and all the balance crews, and all of them were like, what is this lockdown and how many days it will last and how it has to be overcome. Fleet from their side was trying their little best. They were trying for the crew change. Somehow they wanted to do some crew change, but the effect of the lockdown was so much, most of the airlines had shut down. So Indian Airlines also shut down, international airlines, all were shut down. By another 2-3 days after we saw that there is no chance of getting sign-off from Japan, one of the crew, he was actually supposed to get married by first week of April. And he came up saying, how is it possible that different companies are arranging for sign-off and it's not possible by us? But that was not true. And when it came to know that the lockdown was actual and international flights were not happening, he calmed down. But there was another second officer whose wife was due for delivery. Then he came up. So captain was dealing with individual personal issues. At the same time, he was also scared. What is this virus? How it is getting spreaded? We have to protect ourselves. And at the same time, office from different various medium, they were supplying us all the informations which was required to deal with the situation. If at all we are reaching to a port, and if there is somebody is coming from outside, or if there is some provisions or stores coming, how it has to be dealt with, all the safety measures. And slowly, people started changing their view, started understanding how it is difficult to get a sign off it during this period of their time. because vessel started going from Japan to Singapore, Malaysia. Then at one point it started. We got a message that we have to proceed to China for loading, and actually there was some anxiety among the crew that we might be affected, and what has to be done, we have to get down from somewhere or the other. Somehow the master of the vessel, he was on a daily basis we used to have meeting, and we were like convincing all the crew that this is going to be a hard time, but we have to keep our safety, and we have to check with the company at each and every point. Company at the same time was asking us what was our next loading plan or discharging plan, whether the vessel is coming towards India or passing through Sri Lanka. Because during the month of March and Sri Lanka, Gaul was having this crew change. But later on, we saw that April everything was like everywhere it was shut down. So most of the crew. Sorry for the interruption. Most of the crew started understanding that it is not that simple to get a sign off from this ship, at least until the Indian lockdown has been opened up. Because when we came to know that even if we are going to get down at any of the port, whether it is Singapore or Malaysia or any of the other country, to fly to India or to come back to India by any, it was really not possible. There were times when crew used to come to me and say, "Sir, it's better we stay on board until the lockdown is finished, until this episode of coronavirus has been finished." Because after some times you find that most of the crew are like they felt like it is safer to be on board. Unfortunately, there were these cases of this marriage and the delivery of the this officer's wife. Those 2-3 cases were there, which was like little bit able. They were not able to convince themselves. Somehow, we started getting some sign that vessel might go to Fujairah or India, and at the same time office also started like office Hong Kong office started asking the charters whether we are going to that side of the India or the Fujairah, because that was the best opportunity. Because Indian government had already started April. Uh, by April end, they started Indian crew change at Indian ports. So we were thinking that it might be like if you're going to that side, we might deviate our vessel to Kochi, and we had some messages coming up like that. Luckily, we got the opportunity that the vessel is going to Kandla or to Fujairah deviation point. And on 18th of May, we were told we reached Kandla, and as soon as we started getting the message that it is fixed, that it is Kandla and all, and fleet office in Mumbai, Kochi, and Hong Kong, they started all the formalities and documentation of all the sign of crew. Extra crews were also arranged for. If anybody was getting their contract completed by crew, especially 8.5 months, they were also asked for whether you want to say this side off. And luckily, when we reached India, it was like Kandla was like more than 16 days, so we did not have to go for quarantine, because DG had told that if it is 14 days, we have to go for quarantine at the state where we are entering. And we entered Kandla port by 18th, and by 19th we had our medicals done, and mostly all the negative cases were dealt. And by 20th of May we got signed off, and in doing so, fleet took all the measures that most of the crews get signed off, because when they were lined up, eight crews sign off, and there was relievers only for 5 crew. Later on, they arranged the other crews from other states. Somehow, last minute, they somehow arranged, and it was really very good efforts by fleet to get all the crews who are getting due or who are overdue to get signed off. And once we were signed off, we were put in a very good hotel, and the stay at the hotel was 6 to 7 days, which was really fantastic. And each and every day we used to get messages from the office. Yeah, we had a very good WhatsApp group which was created by Fleet Office Mumbai. Few of the senior officers from Fleet Office as well as some other staff, they were very prompt in replying any queries, because I had one problem with my DG shipping profile and I was not able to rectify it from my end. And I called up Kochi office and Mumbai office. I really appreciate that within I think within few hours, like 4 5 hours, they rectified that problem, and it was very important for me to get an e-pass, because that profile had to be updated properly. Later on, then when we were at hotel stay and all, the medical certificate of the driver, because we the transportation was a vehicle, individual vehicle for individual seafarer, and with the driver's medical certificate, sanitization in front of us. With this, we can make out that company went out of the way what was specified in SOP by the DG shipping, because they were taking extra care, extra efforts to make sure that all the crew had properly been relieved and safely been taken to their residence. Because when we were traveling, we had this WhatsApp group which was continuously been monitored by senior team from the Mumbai office, and they were asking us every now and then where we have reached, whether there was any difficulty. We had some difficulty in crossing one of the state, that is Karnataka to Kerala. eJagrita is one of the app which we had to download, and Kochi office did a good job. We two seafarers had that problem, and they rectified that instantly. Like we have some what do you say, border issues. Particular checkpoints are very free access, and some other checkpoints require other documents and all. So Kerala office made sure that such checkpoints are available, which is easy for seafarers to enter into Kerala. That's how we entered into Kerala, and we had a home quarantine, and I really appreciate Fleet Office Kochi. Sergeant sir used to call me every day and ask me about my well-being, and another crew who used to be there with me. He used to always call them and ask him whether everything is okay or not, whether you're having any trouble. And really, during this time, it's not only the family member, but if the outsiders, and if especially Fleet, who is responsibly taking all the responsibility to make sure that each and every crew member reaches home safely, and making us feel like a family member, not just an employee, but a family member of Fleet. I really appreciate the efforts taken by Fleet during this pandemic, because without that effort by the Fleet office in Mumbai and Kochi, it was not that possible for us to get signed off from Kandla, because those were the initial days of unlocking to get the sign off and all. Lot of issues, you can see. Even each and every e-pass was having issues, and it was sorted out so without any, what is the delay, or any much hassles. And I really appreciate the way this was dealt with. Maximum crews were changed so that next cruise doesn't have any overdue or overtime on board ship. I thank you for all this. Once more, I entrust my trust into Fleet Management. I think it's one of the good companies I have worked with. I'm very passionate, and it proves that Fleet consider its crew member not just that they are the employee, but they are family members. Thank you, Fleet, once again.
Thank you, Mr. James. I think I've been watching the chat box. Quite a lot of messages coming in the chat box with regard to the fellow seafarers wants to hear, and it is quite encouraging from both of you that your company supported you in this endeavor of getting you back home. I think, is that your daughter? James, is that your daughter with you?
Yeah.
Okay, we want to see her.
Yeah.
We want to see hi to her.
She ran off.
Yeah, so enjoy, Captain Parag and James. Enjoy your vacation. Gone through a lot, but by working out SOPs for all the shipping companies, POSMA, MASA, and unions to execute and get our Indian sea. Many things delivered at our doorsteps, and I would even say everything available at our fingersteps we had done, especially to the Indian shipping industry. So I have one such strong personality from the yesteryear who has contributed immensely for the Indian shipping industry, and it is thanks to people like him, that we are in such a strong position that we are today, as India is one of the leading maritime nation. So without taking much of the time, I invite Captain Sudhir Nafde, the former nautical advisor to Government of India, to come over and offer his felicitations. Over to you, sir. Sir, your mic is muted, sir. Sir, your mic is muted. Can you unmute your mic, sir? Unmute your mic. Jillian, can you send a message to sir to unmute?
I will see if I can find.
Captain Sudhir Napde. Check my side. Sir, 1 second. He still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Well, good evening, everybody. I have been closely listening to all the speeches, and at the outset, I would like to thank the Nautical Institute and the fleet management for giving me this opportunity to say a few words on this occasion. I'm really impressed to see the growth of fleet management with nearly 550 vessels, with 20,000 seafarers, their offices spread in 12 countries, and serving nearly 100 ship owners. It's really, the statistically speaking, it's a very impressive set of figures. I'm impressed by the trouble that has been taken jointly by Nautical Institute and the fleet management to hold such a webinar, and I'm indeed thrilled that you have invited Captain Gangude from the Serving Masters and Mr. James from the Serving Chief Engineers, and to share with all of us here the problems that they have undergone during their voyaging. And while saying that, I would like to convey my sincere best wishes to all the sailing officers and crew members of the fleet management for their safe voyages around the world and in calm weathers. And I hope, and I'm sure that the kind of efficient office management that sees to the welfare of people on board the ship, that as and when each seafarer's contract gets completed, at the earliest opportunity, they will be returning home to their families. I'm very happy to note the various speakers earlier, and I'm very happy to hear Captain Nagarajan. I'm very happy to hear Captain Vikas Grewal, and the way they look to all the details. I'm really impressed. I mean, it's a webinar of an unusual kind, and therefore the Nautical Institute and the management of fleet management, they deserve a special congratulations from me on this occasion. I also must congratulate the fleet management that they have taken this special opportunity, and it's an unprecedented opportunity to my mind, of complimenting their own senior corporate executive, Captain Prashant Rangnekar, in releasing to him the certificate of appreciation from which is generally given by Nautical Institute. I mean, it's a very fitting step that the fleet management and the Nautical Institute have taken. I have known Captain Prashant Rangnekar for a very long time, and he has had a very eventful and a very successful and a very hardworking career all along. He has been at sea for nearly, I think, 17 years, and now he has been ashore for nearly 23 years, of which he is heading the Elegant Marine Services for nearly 13 years. It is certainly a very encouraging and a very inspiring career profile, and I'm sure he is a model officer to not only the officers and crew of the fleet management, but also to the entire Indian Marine fraternity. I have known him personally, as I have always said on different occasions, that a senior corporate executive must have a burning desire in the heart to accomplish the necessary productivity from his team. But at the same time, while retaining that burning desire in the heart, he also maintained his own very cool head to execute everything. And I think these two qualities, I must say, Captain Rangnekar possesses in abundance. And I can vouch for it because I recall about a few years ago when his daughter got married, and I went to congratulate him and his family. And even at that time also, I found Captain Rangnekar somewhat free of excitement on the face, and he was very coolly receiving all the guests. But I'm sure I would like to, on this occasion, also congratulate his good wife, Mrs. Rangnekar, for keeping Captain Rangnekar very sane, especially during the last 5 months of COVID. I think she deserves a very special congratulations from me because last 5 months I have been a small witness to the tribulations and anxieties of the senior corporate executives sitting in shipping offices and managing to keep the ships afloat, moving, and keep the crew satisfied. It's a very tall order and a very challenging situation during the last 4 months, 5 months, and we still don't know how this present climate is going to improve. So Captain Prashant Rangnekar, to my mind, has been doing a very splendid job on that front, where even Mr. Donald Trump is finding difficulties back home in the United States. So that is certainly a lot that can be said about Captain Prashant Rangnekar. Obstacles are, after all, a great teacher to all of us, you see. And when obstacles come, we look out for solutions. So solutions to HRD and their productivity with regard to problems are essentially problems of harmony. That is what I feel. And unless a senior corporate executive is gifted with this aspect in his personality to seek a harmony from the immediate environment around him, from the emergency telexes and emergency emails that flow across his computer screen every morning when he gets into the office. You see, so these are all very serious situations that we are all passing through. And although I feel I have retired long back, but let me share on this occasion that my heart goes out to a person like Captain Prashant Rangnekar in particular, and to all my fellow seafarers who are out there on the ships and taking care of the world trade across the oceans. And a lot can be said on a subject like this. I mean, you see, a person has to be alive to the situation in a very cool head and with some kind of a gift for instantaneous action as is required every day. You see, so I'm very happy to see that fleet management has been very much at the battlefront on the corona situation in the world today. and I certainly wish them that the weather improves early and the clouds of corona disappear from the skies, and we have the blue skies and the blue oceans in the immediate future ahead. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, for saying a few words, and I once again wish all of you the very best in the life ahead, and to my friend Captain Prashant Rangnekar and his wife, all the happiness ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all those motivating words that you spoke. I'm sure all those who heard you are definitely motivated by hearing your speech. And as you rightly said, adversity provide opportunity. Yes, it is very important. As seafarers, we know how important it is to get the support of the families, and you mentioned that in your speech. And I should say that we have a lot of family members, and I think Fleet has something called as Fleet Care, which looks after the welfare of the spouse in the family. So, thank you once again, sir. And we would take this opportunity to thank you for all that good work that you have done in the past, which we today comfortably enjoy. So thank you for that also, sir. Yes, Gillian, I would like to share my screen as we come to the main part of our event.
You should still be able to share.
Yes. Okay, can you see my screen, Gillian?
Not yet? Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. Do I have Captain Meneses, John Meneses? Captain John Meneses? Okay. Gillian, I would like you to award this certificate to Captain Prashant Rangnekar and Team Fleet, and speak a few words of appreciation for them.
Certainly, it would be my honor to do so. Thank you very much for this opportunity. This certificate of appreciation, it says that it's for Captain Prashant and the Team Fleet. And as Bridget mentioned in the beginning, it's actually for everyone who is working within that whole team. So that team concept is really there. We've heard that from the presentations, and it seems like so much effort has gone in to ensure that the seafarers are safe and protected, and that the families are well respected and kept informed. Sometimes it's just that communication, knowing and having a better understanding. I found it very interesting to hear the stories of the seafarers. Thank you so much for both of you for your dedication and hard work, but also for sharing that the time on board and the uncertainty. I think it's the uncertainty sometimes that can be almost the worst part. If you know when you're going to be able to leave, you can count down. When I was at sea, we used to always count down to the day when we could leave. And if it wasn't at that time, it just is that complete, it's almost like a balloon deflating, because you feel, okay, now what? And you had that so many times, and we're able to work through that adversity. There are so many opportunities that are coming, which is really good too. So this certificate of appreciation is just that. It's to appreciate the hard work that's gone on and to recognize that we're not finished yet. We don't know when this hard work will end. I think we will have lots of opportunity into the future. So you're sacrificing and serving the needs of your fellow citizens around the world, really in keeping the shipping going, in keeping the cargo moving, and protecting those who are doing really the hard yards, working on the ships. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Gillian. I see Captain John Meneses. Can you hear us? Okay, I think there is a problem. Okay, I'll move on. I will definitely send this over to Captain Ragnekar's office very soon, probably before the end of this event. As I mentioned in the beginning, today we are an event with strong personalities and kind-hearted people. So can you imagine if somebody has both these qualities? He's kind-hearted as well as he's a strong personality. And that is how I would like to describe Captain Prashant Ragnekar, who is a strong personality as well as a very kind-hearted person. So without taking much of your time, sir, I invite Captain Prashant Ragnekar, the CEO of Elegant Marine Services. Yes, we heard from the previous speakers from fleet management about the COVID times and etc. But definitely, we would like to hear your part also. Over to you.
Good evening to the team of Nautical Institute and all the participants and our well-wishers in this event. Much appreciate this gesture from Nautical Institute, whereby they are giving due recognition to the most critical and positive outcome during this pandemic. I'm talking about the crew changes, which were done by fleet management, no matter what the challenge is, purely out of sense of duty towards our seafarers and their families. Ms. Gillian Jackson, President of Nautical Institute, London, Mr. Duncan McKelvey, Vice President of Nautical Institute, Mr. Bridget Hogan, Director, PM, Nautical Institute, London, Captain Tom Joseph, Chairman, North India, Nautical Institute, Southwest Branch, Captain J.K. Thomas, Captain Vinod Naveen, all representing the Nautical Institute India Southwest chapter, have been at the forefront in recognizing the efforts of the industry, and our sincere thanks to the Nautical Institute team. In fact, Captain Naveen, I must say that you have been an excellent host, and I can see that with every event you are getting better at it. So all the best to you in the. I would also like to thank one of industry's senior most mentor and guide, Captain Sudhir Nafre, erstwhile nautical advisor to the Government of India, for his very kind words and introduction. His words of appreciation personally means a lot to me. I met him during my first stint ashore when I just stepped in, and every time I met and interacted with him, it has always been a pleasing experience. I have a lot of happy memories of interaction with him. Thank you, sir. All the speakers before me have done an excellent job, especially Captain Parag Ganguly and Chief Engineer Mr. James, narrating their experiences. It's like the Akho Dekha, as they say in Hindi, or the live commentary of what happened on the ship. So thanks for your support when you were at sea. The year 2020 has been harsh on everyone. No industry is spared, not even Bollywood. But then Bollywood is in the news of late for reasons other than COVID pandemic. So we leave them to their woes and come back to the challenges faced by the shipping industry, and to be specific, the crewing industry and how fleet has gone about getting the crew changes done. Fleet management, as you heard, has more than 550 ships under its management, both technical and crewing. These ships, and we have a variety of them, are manned by seafarers of various nationalities, with seafarers from India taking a leading position among all other nationalities. In all, we have in excess of 11,000 seafarers on board, and at any given time, the total pool is in excess of 20,000 seafarers. Man management has never been easy. And when you have your own crew stuck on board in large numbers, like an extended family to us, and with every avenue of affecting the crew change shutting down, suddenly in end of March, the foremost question in our mind was what now? And for how long we can sustain this? Just when the first sign of total lockdown was coming, we took it upon us to at least get the crew changes done on ships which were then in the Indian ports, and with the determination and self-belief and with support of the seafarers and helpful government officials, we got the joining crew to travel across state borders and board the vessel, and off-signers to travel back home, all this while the SOP was still getting drafted. Once the robust SOP was put in place by the Director General of Shipping, we took a lead in carrying out the crew changes at Indian ports, and with the round-the-clock support from Shri Amitabh Kumar, the Director General himself, and Captain Daniel and others in the administration, there was no looking back. The hurdles at ground level were sorted out by the very helpful port officials, including Captain Ashwin Solanki of Gujarat Maritime Board and many other like-minded officials, all good Samaritans at every port. Months of April and May were the most challenging for all of us, as we could understand the pain of our seafarers staying away from their families, but could do very little to get them back unless the vessels called Indian ports. To this extent, we even got the support of our principals, ship owners, to divert the vessels to India to carry out crew change, and utilize this opportunity to the fullest extent, with shore team across all our 11 offices in India, working actually day and night, and with excellent support from Captain Nagarajan and the team in Hong Kong, we together worked on a single agenda, get our seafarers to return to their families. Had the criteria of rest hours been applied ashore, none of us would have met the requirements. But all this work was done with so much passion and the sense of responsibility and fervor that the sense of day and night was lost on us. With every crew change, virtual cheers and handshakes would go around, and smiles and tweets from the relieved seafarers going back home made all the efforts worthwhile and further energized the team ashore to achieve more. However, we soon realized that we need to do more and be more innovative if we are to bring back our crew who were trading on ships far away from the Indian shore. The industry got together, held meetings with the Director General of Shipping, the Ministry of Shipping, DGCA, and opened up the skies by chartering flights to Doha. We did not stop flights. We did not just stop with flights to Doha. Fleet management then went ahead and chartered special flights to Hong Kong and even to Perth, Australia. Of course, this comes at a huge financial impact to the company, and in this respect, the ship owners have been silently but surely supporting the cause by accepting enormous costs on crew changes, and we acknowledge their share in achieving what appeared impossible. Very happy to say that we accomplished more than 10,000 crew changes during this lockdown period, and the count is increasing by more than 100 every day. We know that our task is not over yet until we get each crew member who is on extended stay on board back home to his family. And to achieve this all, our offices across the globe in India, Hong Kong, Singapore, Cyprus, London, USA, and Amsterdam are working hand in hand to bring about the maximum crew changes. In fact, we are chartering one more flight to Perth in the coming week just to get our seafarers relieved, as commercial flights to Australia are severely restricted. While we talk about seafarers, there is another segment which are the true backbone of any seafarer, and that is his family, who stands by him as he fulfills his professional responsibility at sea. When the coronavirus pandemic brought the whole world to a standstill, with schools closed and all outdoor activities suspended due to lockdown, it had become very difficult for the seafarers' family members to stay locked up indoors, especially without their key member, the seafarer, out at sea. Our fleet care department, along with the sourcing and the recruitment team, took care of them, and with the use of technology, connected with the families of the seafarers. The fleet care team even arranged social events through the virtual platform to keep the family of seafarers engaged in social and playful activities. With this, we managed to build a sense of community and a sense of belonging and inclusiveness with the seafarer and his family. During the extended stay on board, some crew members did face psychological stress and depression, and this is where our in-house clinical psychologist played a vital role in counseling them through telephone and video calls. We also have a round-the-clock crisis response network established in collaboration with Sailor Society, which provides counseling services in 14 different languages over telephone, email, and chat. This helps in addressing the psychosocial isolation and stress-related issues, especially during such a challenging time the crew is facing on board. It is said that life is better when you are happy, but we say at Fleet, life is best when others are happy because of you. And our happiness lies in our seafarers getting back home to their loved ones. To be fair to our sailing team, I must add here that cooperation we received from all our seafarers on 550 plus ships was tremendous, and that showed the understanding and the trust we share with our sailing team. Our salute to them and all the seafaring community of every nation and the port officials for keeping the wheels of the industry running and helping the common man get his daily needs in spite of the entire world coming under lockdown. Next week, the industry also celebrates the World Maritime Day, and my best wishes to everyone on this happy occasion. Thank you, Nautical Institute, for this opportunity and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Prashant Vagnekar. Jillian, I would just like to share my screen once again before we get on to the last, I hand over the baton for the vote of thanks, just to substantiate the sentence which I mentioned about Captain Ragnek being a kind-hearted person. I would like to just put forward a small slide. Can you see this, Gillian?
Not yet. Just one second. It says it's, yes, we see that.
Okay, so you can see Captain Prashant Nagrekar here. As you all know, Kerala had a tough time in 2018 with floods, and you can see here donating, as he rightly said in his concluding remarks. We feel happier when we see others happier. So I would just wanted to put this, and since I have two gentlemen on the picture, I see them both here. Captain Joe Scooty, I give you 30 seconds, just to give you a few words of appreciation to Captain Ragnek. Unmute, sir. Please unmute, sir. Captain Joe Scooty, you're still muted.
I want to know how to use this chat box.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Congratulations to Team Fleet, Team Elegant. And as the name stands, Elegant, you have really done an elegant job in getting your family members back home and your seafarers who are due to join ship. A humongous effort and much appreciated by everybody. I would also like to see Captain Afde here. So thank you for coming on this program. You were here in Cochin to launch the Company of Master Mariners chapter in 1988 or thereabouts. We fondly remember your visit. This program is also to connect and reconnect with people. And I see one of my friends, Captain Dulkar, who was Harbour Master Port Captain in Alang. And I was there on a National Film Board of Canada documentary filming project about shipbreaking. There are many others here, so hearty congratulations to Team Fleet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Joe Scooty. I just wanted to, during my sailing days, there was always an urge for me to sail with fleet management. A lot of mails and applications filled, but somehow it didn't work out. But after I stepped ashore in 2009, I think I've been part of almost all the get-togethers that fleet management has hosted in Cochin. And that is, I sometimes wonder why I was on that event, but it is because of the kind-hearted Mr. Sajan Somachi, who is the Deputy General Manager at Cochin. Sajan, it would be unfair if I end this event without hearing you. A lot of people want to hear you. Sajan, if you could come online and just speak 2 words.
Good evening, all of you. Just would like to start this by saying that Captain Naveen, you are wonderful. Exactly the way Captain Rangnecker said, you have been a wonderful coordinator. Then again about our achievements, all of the speakers told about that. I would definitely say Captain Nagarajan and Captain Prashant Rangnecker, both of them were our guiding forces throughout this. Because of which only all our branch officers, all of us, all colleagues at Mumbai and everywhere, could achieve this. That's part one. Part two is, and the most important, I would say, is the cooperation which we received from all our seafarers. They have been, second time, third time, second month, third month, when they are calling, still the kind of that patience which they showed, that was really, really exemplary. And of course, they definitely would have gathered it from their better halves and their families, because they also would have ensured them, okay, please be with the company would be doing everything. So many thanks from all of us here at Cochin, also all of us from Fleet, also to all the seafarers and their families. So if I don't show this to all the seafarers, it's not fair enough. So thanks to all of you while we were coordinating all these efforts. Great. That's all, Vinod. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sajan. It is nice to see you once again, even though it is virtually. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we come to the end of this event, and it is as fitting. I have a sailor who had sailed with fleet management to deliver the vote of thanks. He is also a member of the Nautical Institute Southwest branch. I invite Captain Hari Krishnan to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Voltaire said that appreciation is a wonderful thing. it makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. A very good evening to all. Honorable Captain Nagarajan, respected Captain Rahnekar, and Captain Vikas, and our most valued invited guest, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Nautical Institute Southwest Branch and the entire team, even special guest in the audience, let me call it maritime fraternity here together, and my behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for being here and sharing with us your experiences and opinions today. A big thank you to Captain Nagarajan for his efforts towards crew relief during pandemic situation and giving constant support. I am short of words for your involvement in getting my crew who were overdue for sign off. It was beyond the bounds of possibility to sign off during this corona outbreak. Actually, Captain Nagarajan, I called him many times, few times, for my sign off. Our crew, we were overdue, 15, 16 crew members were overdue for sign off. We called him and he talked to owners and we diverted the vessel and my crew got signed off. So thank you, sir. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Captain Prashant Rannekar for everything you have done during this hard time. Your commitments and prompt actions never goes unnoticed. Further, we are grateful to Captain Vikas for his efforts to keep the crew safe and to make sure that the things work better. We truly inspired your personal commitment to make a difference in these unprecedented and challenging times. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Captain Sudhir Napte and my colleagues at FML, Captain Parag and Mr. James Joseph, for their experience sharing with us and collaborative work to understand each other's challenges, to empathize and supporting each other. I also wish to express my gratitude to Ms. Gillian C. Jackson, President, Nautical Institute, Ms. Bridget Hogus, Captain Tom Joseph, our Chairman, Southwest Branch, Captain Joseph Alapat, Vice Chairman, Southwest Branch, for organizing such a wonderful event. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to the Nautical Institute for conducting a recognition event for fleet management, which is my company too, makes me more proud. It's not possible to conclude without taking the mastermind behind this event, none other than Captain Vinod Naveen. I may like to express our sincere thanks to other strong personalities in the event, namely Captain Minsis, Captain Joe Scooty, Captain Bharadwaj, Captain Randhir Mahadik, Captain Ajit, Captain Philip Matthews, Dr. K. Simon, and Mr. Sajan sir, and Captain Falbe, Captain Bozin, and NA representatives from various parts of the world. Even though I have a lot more individual incidents to thank each and every one of you, I had to omit them to keep this to the time limits. I sincerely offer my gratitude from the bottom of my heart for the kind gestures each and every one of you has offered. Last but not the least, I wanted to extend my generous thanks to every one of the guest list today who has actively participated and shared time out of their busy schedule. I wish everyone a happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Hari. We come to the end of this event, but I should say this is one event where we went up close to 200 participants on Zoom itself. And as I mentioned, I don't know, as I said, two kind-hearted people I can see on my screen is Captain Prashant Ragnekar and Mr. Sajan Tomachi. So I do not know because of whom have we got so many participants on Zoom. Of course, we don't have the numbers on YouTube and Facebook, which will come later and I will share with you. We still have about 100 participants logged in on Zoom. And now that the event has come to a conclusion, I request all of you to turn on your cameras, turn on your cameras so that we can take a screenshot of all of you. If I may request all the 100 participants to turn on your camera. You are also free to unmute yourself. There is no more protocol. You can free to unmute. You can offer your compliments to the recipients of the award, fleet management. Please feel free to use your mic now. Thank you, Captain Basin, once again to having participated in our event. Thank you, Captain Basin.
Congratulations, Flick.
Captain Naveen, I should also thank the entire industry for coming together during these challenging times. There were never been such a better collaboration, industry and the administration, in achieving the impossible, getting the crew changes done. So thanks to the entire industry and the administration and every port official, everyone connected with this crew change, in fact. And thanks to the Nautical Institute for recognizing this. Thank you.
Congratulations, team fleet management, for their tremendous effort given to the seafarers during this pandemic. Thank you. Thank you all.
I can see Captain AP Sardar after a long time. Good, good. Congratulations to all the participants and also to Vinod for a wonderful event. James and Parag really highlighted the whole scene, and that was wonderful to hear from them. And the Southwest branch truly has become a leader in the Nautical Institute Indian diaspora. Well done.
So well done to all. It's wonderful to see everybody. Rashma, I can see you there too, which is great. It's so nice to see many familiar faces, and very well done to Southwest India branch. And the Nautical Institute as a whole, I think, is benefiting from all of the activity that is happening. It is a challenging time, but as we heard, the challenges actually provide us with this opportunity. And now I believe we probably are much better at being able to be connected, even though we aren't able to leave our houses through lockdown. So it's a great opportunity, and I feel very much connected from Australia to UK to India and beyond. So well done.
Yes, Bridget, you want to say something, Bridget, once again before you leave?
I just want to praise the leadership that's been shown, both ashore and on the ships. And I'm really impressed that there was no great chasm developing them and us. I've never been a seafarer, but I worked in the office ashore. And we really used to try to keep a bond between the people on both sides. And I just am absolutely enthralled by the stories that I've heard today and inspired. So I just think this is very much the beginning of a new way of communicating with each other.
Yeah, my congratulations to the fleet management team. I know many known faces, Captain Nagarajan. I must mention also Captain Ragnekar. Not only is you should be proud that he is taking their team in India for the FML, but also as a MASA chairman, he has been helping the whole industry. My congratulations again to all of you.
Thank you, Captain Basinji, for very kind words. We have done it, it's we. So we all have done a lot for the industry and everyone together. So all of us have benefited. And most importantly, we're able to do something for our seafarers and their families. So thanks to everyone.
We have our newest member of Nautical Institute India Southwest, one of the newest, there's Reshma Nilufar. She's a full-fledged pilot in Kolkata. And from all the way from Calcutta, she has come to join the Nautical Institute in Cochin. Maybe Reshma would like to say a few words.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and congratulations to the fleet team, Captain Prashant and team, and the seafarers out there on the complete fleet. And very happy to meet all the senior members of the fraternity. Happy to be here with and to meet Gillian and Bridget and all the others here. Really appreciate Captain Vinod for having me in the group. Also meet a lot of long time no see faces out here. So thank you for having me here. It was good to be here. Thanks.
any of the family members who are here, as I mentioned, Fleet Care
Thanks
is
for
an
watching.
initiative
See
of
you
fleet
next time.
management.
Bye for
Any of the
now.
family